DeVoe. Welcome to Holistically Speaking. Our mission at Holistically Speaking is to be the avenue through which the voices of holistic health reach you at the time you need it most. And today I am joined by Raphael Groten, who is a sound healer. So we're going to be talking about sound healing, playing some music, playing some really fun things that I have no idea what they are. And I am so delighted to have you on the show. So
thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I know you're going to start us off with a beautiful treat. So.
Well, I thought it would be fitting to start with the crystal bowl, sort of attuned to the work. A lot of people wonder about crystal bowls when they hear about sound work, and so I'd like to just start us off with a brief toning offering. Just inviting the viewers at home to relax and be present with the sound. Just allowing the day to sort of slip away, the busyness of life. Just being present and breathing. Sighing at home. We give thanks. It's always very relaxing.
Oh, no kidding.
I hope that was relaxing for the viewers.
So the first thing that I, just noticed myself reflecting is, instinctively I just wanted to close my eyes. And then as I was sitting there thinking, well, I wonder how this looks like on TV, I opened my eyes again, and then I noticed that there was like a disconnect. As soon as I opened my eyes, I wasn't so much in the feeling of the sound and just letting the sound carry me. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me. The eyes are taking in information all the time. And so when we close our eyes, and instinctually that's what I do as well, almost all the time, is I find myself closing my eyes. It makes sense. We're like shutting off that sort of way that we're interpreting the world and allowing the inner world to take over.
Yeah, and I don't know if the viewers at home experience this, and maybe if they close their eyes and listen to you, there's just something incredible in your toning and the sound of the bowl and your voice that it kind of transports you. It sounds like maybe the sounds are like otherworldly sounds. It's just really interesting.
Yeah.
So how did you get to doing this work? How does one become a sound healer?
Um, well, first I do want to disclaim the word healer. On my path, as I've come to realize, healing happens on a personal basis. So I like to call myself a facilitator, or as one teacher mentioned, a catalyst. You know, knowing that indeed it's not me who's doing the healing. My intention is to hold the space and be of assistance and guide. But that's sort of like the tangential, because it's always a little tricky to call oneself a healer, knowing that it's not really me.
Yeah. I like that. So you're a sound healing facilitator.
The way I describe it is a facilitator of personal transformation, growth, practitioner of sound healing.
Yeah.
Takes it away a little bit from the idea of being the healer.
Right. That it's your job and it's your responsibility too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you get to facilitate sound healing?
It's been a long journey, about 13 years, maybe even 20, if I really think about my first experiences with shamanism and journey work and my own personal healing, and then finding teachers along the way who recognized me as ready to learn and took me as apprentices. And in the beginning it was mostly shamanic work, for lack of a better term. That's again, these terms, the language, the term shaman coming from a certain part of the world, and we use it as an umbrella term now.
Right.
So I use it with reverence and honoring where it came from. Trying to share that with people as well along the way. So initially it was that sort of shamanic healing work that I was studying and apprenticing, and having been a lifelong musician, when I discovered the idea of sound healing, it was like the match made in heaven.
Right.
Here we are. All right. Yeah. This makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
Sound, personally, never been a great silent meditator.
Well, that's a clue.
So I found it really easy to begin to meditate, if you will, with the sound, allowing the sound to carry me into inner worlds, into the journey states that, typically the shaman through the drum might be experiencing and accessing.
Yeah. So, to your understanding or how you see transformation happen, what is happening when you are sounding different instruments or singing, or how does that facilitate transformation?
Good question. I mean, here's the thing. It's hard to bring the words to describe the work. There's a certain amount of mystical, magical quality to a fair amount of, I'm going to use the catch-all, the New Age or the alternative modalities that. And it's like my father says, his acupuncturist said, my family's been doing this for 500 years. Don't ask me how it works.
Right, yeah.
So, that said, what I in regards to your question, how does the facilitation happen? Right now, how I might express that in this moment, I'm really seeking to hold space for the healing and the highest good of all, which doesn't necessarily mean that healing happens on a physical level, emotional, spiritual level it could be happening on. And then really there's many different avenues that a facilitator like myself could be using, different modalities. Classic shamanic practices such as soul retrieval, extraction, healing, simply surrounding the person with light and love is one of my core practices.
Right.
And then asking also on that soul level, the level where the words can't really
Right.
make sense.
Yeah.
On that soul level, really holding space for the person to do their own work.
Right. You know, because I tend to have a pretty kind of logical brain of, okay, so what's happening here?
Yeah.
You know, well, how is this working? And I think that's where the question's coming from, you know, where it gets informed. And my interpretation of it, and correct me if you have a different understanding of it, but my interpretation of it has been that, you know, just like now with a crystal bowl and or in a sound circle, a sound healing circle, like I've participated with you, there's, you know, sound is a vibration. It's a wave that you can feel it physically. You can, if you know, like a drum, you can feel that wave, you know. And it's impossible for that energy to not affect you. So
right.
it moves you, it affects you in ways that you're not conscious of. You know, that movement, that wave is moving through your body, right? And so it's affecting your DNA, it's affecting your cells. It's so, you know, we might not even be able to rationalize what's happening afterwards or whatever, but it's obviously having an effect.
Science is catching up.
Yeah.
You know, I like to joke about that. Science is kind of catching up with what the mystics have been saying for thousands of years. You know? So the vibrational nature of the sound work, sometimes I like to think of it like this. You think of any sound chamber, any room, any drum, anything that holds a resonance, it has a certain tone to it.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking of the body, let's say every organ also has a certain shape, a certain size, just like everyone's voice is a different timbre and has different qualities to it. Let's say each organ has an
inherent sound
or vibration.
Vibration.
So, you know, if we're all vibrating, then each part of us is vibrating, and then together we create the vibration of our whole energy field, again, for lack of a better term. So how I have come to understand it or experience it, and again, highly subjective, all of this stuff, really, is that if, and this is just an example, like let's say an organ is out of whack, it's not in a healthful state, it's not in its homeostasis.
Right.
It's not vibrating in its proper frequency. So there's an intuitive nature to the work where the sound healer might intuit the natural frequency, the resonant frequency of that organ. Again, this is sort of reaching for an explanation in the rational world. And then, therefore, sound into the body, into the liver or whatever it is, into the heart, that tone that would bring the resonance
to its proper,
to its normal state. So you got a tuning fork and another tuning fork, and you hit one, and you bring it closer, and the other starts to ring.
Yeah.
Which
is fascinating how that happens.
It's the idea. And oftentimes when I'm talking around the bowl too, I'll hit certain notes and the bowl will start to ring.
Yeah.
Or, you know, if you're singing in the shower, certain notes will surround you in the shower. It's a great place to practice toning, you know.
Oh,
you got your sound, your natural sound chamber, like a cave, and.
So, I took us down this path of like all the logical and and
it's
less
good. It's
maybe.
Important.
But it's just kind of, we were talking about demystifying some of the stuff and making it real, making it solid, and that's kind of how I function anyway.
I think we all do, culturally. I've definitely worked with that my whole path.
Yeah.
Really believing it. And it takes personal experience. That's what I would say to folks at home. In any of the modalities, it takes a personal experience to say, oh, I saw something or I felt something there. And I tell folks, it's okay to not understand how it works if it relaxes you and you're happier.
Yeah, if it reduces stress levels, makes you feel good. And you were talking about the organ effect and the physical effect, but you touched on something earlier about the emotional qualities and even just the stress management that you're mentioning. That ability to maybe kind of travel, when you're in listening to these sounds, kind of letting the sound carry you.
Yeah.
You might go places that you're, you know, emotionally, mentally, at a soul level, at whatever level you want to think of it. That
and we
can
get
be,
out of our way at that time.
Yeah,
It's
can be
like-
quite powerful.
And the traditional shamanic drum journey involves a rapid, you know, boom, 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 boom.
So show us some, and maybe we need to move the
okay,
bowl
yeah.
so that the camera can pick at least that you've got a ton of things.
I brought toys.
You brought some
I like
toys.
the toys.
Some of which I have never seen before. So what do you have here?
Oh, I've got some rattles and some bells and flutes and obviously a lovely drum that my friend painted for me. So these are sort of an assortment of instruments from around the world that are sacred in some practices, like the Tibetan bell. I don't use it in the Tibetan way.
Can you lift it, just noticing that it just looks like a cluster of things.
I'm going to ding it too, so that we can hear it.
Beautiful.
Yeah. See if it's, hopefully it's not too loud.
Oh, it's,
So every instrument, you know, in my experience, creates a different field and works differently. Rattles might really shake stuff up for some people. The
Yeah.
bell might calm people.
yeah.
The drum might bring people into a deeper meditation. But it, did you have any?
And it's like you almost feel a different part of your body responding with different sounds, right?
Yeah.
Like you, like that. I just all of a sudden like felt it, and
Each sound, each instrument speaks differently to each, you know, and one of the ways I like to demystify sound healing is by saying we all love music and it's sound, and it affects us deeply,
right.
even when we don't realize it. And I also demystify by saying when we stub our toe, and we go, ow! We're like, there's certain, and there's lots of vowel sounds. I've been sort of taking notes, like, and then we go, or ooh, and you know, there's like these natural responses. But when we don't go, ow, and we stub our toe, I find, personally speaking, it makes it more painful. So there's like this expression, there's this release in sound, and that's why I encourage people to sound with me, not just receive the sound,
Right.
but to make their own sounds.
Right. So what else do you have here?
Oh, well, this was my first rattle, the little fishy. I was a baby. This is my
Really?
infant rattle.
Infant rattle. Wow. So
this is like inner child work. I like to call on this rattle when I'm trying to awaken the inner child.
that's very cute.
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah. This is a curious thing. It was
Looks like a big
it was like a
paperclip.
kid's toy, and then I adopted it because if it makes a cool sound, I like it. If it wants to be in the work, so this. Oh, again, hopefully it'll come through. Everything making a different sound, and then also the intention which we play things, and where.
It's very subtle.
Yeah, I don't know if they can hear it at home, but these bells, I love these bells. Again, every sound sort of making its own, suggesting something.
Yeah.
You know, like these bells are sort of like.
That one, unless you like.
I don't know. Oh, okay.
Yeah. It might pick up the sound. That one's a little loud.
Yeah. Never know how they're going to translate, so my apology to the viewers if
We're just playing.
they're not beautiful as they are here.
And what's this thing that?
This is sort of the male counterpart to this bell.
Oh, okay.
Sort of a lengthy story, but they go together. So it doesn't actually make sound, but it's traditionally it's
They go
the
together.
balance. So the female bell and the male
I see.
aspect.
I had never seen that. And then you have some things that look like more of the perhaps Native American kind of medicine man type.
Well, this rattle I made many years ago, and have continued to remake it and remake it. But it's just my main rattle. It's what I call you know, invocation with, lack of a better term again. not religious in any sense, just sort of, traditionally the shaman would use a rattle to call the guides, call the totems, to come and be in the work, inviting them in. And also it's really something you can use over someone's body. For this rattle really breaks stuff up. I'm going to play it really quietly.
Yeah.
It's a nice loud rattle. And there's the natural rattle, which we were enjoying before the show.
So are those, what, those are acacia pods?
I don't know what tree it's from. I should know that.
Or mesquite, maybe? I don't know. Very cool. I just give that a shake.
Oh yeah.
Just like,
It's fun.
it's just so incredible.
I
that
handed
this
those out at the
little-
last sound circle, and
this
everyone was shaking.
little thing of nature
Makes a sound.
makes this cool sound.
Yeah.
And then obviously you have two bears here.
Yeah, the white bear came. This is it's a little flute. This is like an ocarina. Can I play a little bit?
Yeah, please.
We'll see if this translates through the microphone. Don't get me started.
Definitely very, it just makes me feel or think of something that I would see, you know, the shaman doing.
It's got that sort of native feel to the flute playing.
Yeah.
This comes
And
through
I
that
also
way.
see that you have a guitar. So does
have a
that
guitar.
come
Yeah.
into your sound circles?
It does, yeah. Again, anything that makes noise. So utilizing, you know, the guitar to open people's hearts, and
Right.
especially at the end of a circle when everyone is sort of collecting themselves and integrating what they've experienced and sort of riding that out, you know.
So I know you wanted to play a little guitar for us. I'm wondering if you're still feeling it.
Yeah, always. Absolutely.
And we have a few more minutes to do that, but you know, thinking of our viewers watching us talk about this and listening to some of these sounds, having maybe not ever experienced a sound healing circle, how does it unfold? What happens if they were imagining it, you know, and maybe you can open their curiosity to say, oh, that sounds kind of cool.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's meant to be highly experiential. They're meant to be essentially community healing circles, which means all walks of life, all religions, everyone is welcome. Healing of the self, others, and the earth. Sort of that's the mission. Okay, keep it pretty broad.
yeah.
And so, you know, the idea is you can come if you just want to hold space or if you have personal healing. But essentially, they go, you know, an hour and a half, 2 hours, a sound circle, and they would involve sort of journeying or meditating with the instruments at times toning, at times talking as a community. If people have things that they want to share or work through. I've found amazing things happening in circles where I'm just sitting back and all of a sudden people are talking to each other and giving each other the insights, and that's part of my interest, is building community through it.
So we have like 2 or 3 minutes for you to play a little bit if you'd like.
Okay, wow, time's just flown by.
It's just like, let's get it done.
Okay. This is a song I wrote in Brazil about 10 years ago on the Black River.
Thank you.
Thank
That was
you.
beautiful. And you said you wrote that in Brazil.
I wrote that in Brazil, yeah.
That's wonderful. And so I'd like to take an opportunity to show you, our viewers, some of Raphael's Facebook pages and where you might be able to listen to his music and find him and his healing. So your healing work page on Facebook is Bear Cave Healing. So I actually tested this out. I did a search on Facebook for Bear Cave Healing and that came up. And then to listen to your music on Facebook, I also did a search for typing in Raphael Groten, on Facebook and selecting the one that says musician band. The other one I think is your personal page.
That's right.
Or on the web, you can also find Raphael's music on reverbnation.com, Raphael Groten. And you know, if this is a sample of the rest of your music on there, it's just incredible.
Thank you. It's really varied. I love to bring music from all over the world. So there's all sorts of music to be found out there, and more to come. So please do get in touch.
Yeah, and I would really encourage our viewers to check out Raphael's website, your Facebook pages, because I get the feeling that you're going to be doing more sound healing circles, and there's going to be opportunity to experience this work. And I've experienced it and have found it incredibly transformative, as you have been describing. And just even if nothing else, like you said, it's incredibly relaxing, really serene, a really peaceful experience. So thank you for joining me.
Thank you very much, Mirella.
Thank you for allowing me to bring this to our viewers. And thank you for joining us and enjoying this beautiful time with Raphael. I hope you'll join us next time. Take care.